You know, in real estate, they talk about location, 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 and how important location is. But when you're shooting videos and creating content for YouTube or other social media, I'm not so sure that location is all that important, other than the conditions in which you're finding yourself in that location. In other words, it doesn't matter where you record, it's more about the surrounding things within that location, the environment. You can shoot video just about anywhere. I mean, think about all the various places that you've seen people talk on videos on YouTube. Some people have sat in their front seat of their car and talked for 20 minutes. Some people have leaned on their car outside and talked for 20 minutes. Some people have walked down the sidewalk or walked through a park or walked somewhere and created their content, just what we would call a walk and talk. They just walk and talk at the same time. There's other places people have talked and created videos. I've shot videos in coffee shops, in restaurants, of course. You see all kinds of people creating content in restaurants. Those who are food critics, for example, will sit at the table and eat and critique the meal while they're eating it. So it really doesn't matter in terms of location where you shoot your video, where you create your content. You can be in a fancy office with a fancy background with all kinds of fancy lighting and fancy audio, or you can be outside like I am right now. I'm out on the patio of a restaurant, and it's quite noisy. The interstate highway is close by. Listen to that motorcycle in the background. Can you hear it? Probably not, because I'm going to get rid of the sound in post-production, because there's a website you can go to get rid of sound that is not very pleasant. We'll get into that in a minute. The main thing I wanted to get across this morning to you was that the location really doesn't matter. Just pull out your camera, pull out your iPhone or whatever camera you may be using, and just press the record button and record. Now, there are certain things that you want to be aware of. While location doesn't matter, there are things that you want to look out for. And I would say one of the most important things is the background, what's going on behind you. You want to pay attention to where you're positioned. Notice if I move my camera here, and I've changed my location, my position, but notice now I've got this pole sticking out of my head. You want to watch the background and make sure you don't have things poking you in the head. I learned this when I was in photography school, in art school. When you're taking photographs, you always want to be aware of what's behind your subject, and you don't want things poking them in the head. See how odd and weird that is to have that sticking out of my head? And just by repositioning my camera, I can get rid of it. Now I'm in this open, free space. So you want to pay attention to what's behind you, what's in the background. You want to see if there's a lot of people in the background walking around, because there are certain rules and restrictions about showing people in the background, and we'll get to that in a minute. So the main idea here is to pay attention to where you're positioned and pay attention to the background of what's going on. Other than that, the location really doesn't matter. It's what's going on behind you. That's what matters. And of course, the other thing, the most basic, one of the most basic things you want to be concerned about in the location is the lighting. You want plenty of nice lighting to lighten up your face. If you're wearing a hat, be sure and remember that it casts a shadow. See the shadow my hat is casting? Now, if I take it off, you see that shadow lighting is a little bit better. If I put my hat on, see how It darkens my forehead and my eyes. That's why a lot of times when I shoot videos, I will wear my hat backwards, like this, because not only will it cover my chrome dome, cover my bald head, but it will also open up my face and provide good lighting on my face. I've noticed a lot of times if you're bald like me, that if you have a bright light like sunlight or some sort of a ceiling light coming up from above, you'll get a nice bright spot on the top of your bald head. That's one reason I wear my hat like this. It's to help diffuse that light, that big shiny white spot that shows up on my head. So lighting is very important. You want to try to diffuse the lighting. You don't want real bright light coming in on one side of your face and real darkness on the other. You want things to be a little bit more evened out, a little more subdued. Now, I'm sitting under a patio screen, and the sunlight is a little bit hazy. And so I've got this lighting situation which is rather dull. I don't really have any bright lights hitting my face. Everything is sort of evened out and subdued, which is okay. It's not bad. I don't mind that. You just want to avoid low light where people can't see you. You want to avoid real bright, harsh light where it washes your face out. You want something that is sort of in between, something that looks pleasant. And you can figure this out by running a test on your camera before you shoot your final video. Just look at it. See if there's anything in terms of the lighting that can be improved. It may be you can just move a few feet to another location near you and get better lighting. The other thing that probably even more important than lighting is going to be audio. The reason I hold this microphone so close to my mouth and not down here, the reason I hold it up here is because I'm in a noisy location and I've got to get rid of this background noise. And the closer this miniature wireless mic gets to my mouth, the better the audio is. You'll notice that I've got noise cancellation on. I'm going to show you the green light that shows it. See that green light? That green light is noise cancellation. Now I'm going to turn that noise cancellation off and see if you can tell the difference. See if you can hear all of this highway noise in the background. Listen to this noise. See how close the highway is to my location and how noisy it is? Well, now I'm going to turn the noise cancellation back on. Okay, now I've got my noise cancellation back on. And hopefully it cuts out a lot of the background noise and makes the audio sound much better. Now, in addition to that, when I get through with this video, I will take this video and put it into Adobe, what's it called? My mind's gone blank. It's the Adobe audio software. And we'll pull out the track that just contains the audio. I will separate the audio from the video. And you can do this online. There are websites you can go to that will do this. I use the Adobe software to do it. And it's Audition. It just hit me. Adobe Audition. I take my video and drag it into audio Audition and then extract, pull out just the audio. And I save that audio in an audio file. And I will name it the name of today's video and audio only. Then I'll go to the website Adobe Enhanced Podcast, or Adobe Podcast Enhancement, I think is officially what it's called. It's Adobe Podcast Enhancement. I'll put a link to it in the description, or you can just Google it and it'll take you right to the website. And you can drag that audio file into Adobe Enhancement and run that file through their software, and it will come out nice and clean. All of that background noise will be eliminated. If you've got background music, it'll take the music out, and it works really well. Now, sometimes it makes your voice sound a little wacky because audio is eliminated by frequency, and sometimes the frequencies are so close that it tends to take some of the audio frequency out of your voice as it tries to extract it from the background. So you have to be careful, and there are some adjustments that you can make. And there are times when my voice goes so wacky that I just edit it. I just cut that part of the video out. But by and large, 95%, 99% sometimes of the audio has been enhanced to such a great extent that it just sounds so much better. So that's something else I do in terms of the audio. But audio is key. People can put up with crappy video. They don't mind looking at crappy video if the audio is good. But on the other hand, if you've got really great looking video and the audio is crappy, the audio is hard to distinguish and hear and listen to, they will immediately turn it off because it's hard on the ears. So audio is very important. So you want good lighting and good audio. So just to recap real quickly, location really doesn't matter as long as you check the background. You've got good lighting, and you've got good audio. Now, the last thing I'll mention are the rules and restrictions that come into play when you're filming in public. There are some basic things that you need to be aware of. Number one is that children are forbidden. Do not show a child on your video. If you've got children in the background, if you've got children that are showing up in your B-roll, if you've got children playing on a playground, park, or something, anything that shows a child's face, you want to edit it out or blur it. YouTube is very, very restrictive of children and very protective of children's identities. And so avoid shooting B-roll of children and having children in the background. The other thing, of course, is adults don't like it either. Some adults prefer that you not show them on video. So if you're shooting inside a coffee shop, let's say you're standing in line at Starbucks and you're shooting B-roll of you standing in line at Starbucks, be sure and either ask permission of the barrister or the person behind the counter. Just say, do you mind if I shoot some video in here? And whatever, just ask them for permission first. And even then, you want to be careful about people standing in the line behind you and the people in the crowd. Generally speaking, it's okay to shoot in public as long as you don't focus in on a certain individual. I can pan and show the inside of the coffee shop in a slow-moving, medium-moving. I don't want to be so fast that you can't see it, but I don't want to be so slow that you can focus in on an individual. So you got to be careful when you're shooting in public. It's one thing to shoot the crowd where you can't really distinguish one person from another. And it's another thing to use your zoom and zoom in on one person. Let's say you find in a crowd somebody that's really interesting looking and they look kind of freaky and you're going to make a joke about them or something. And so you zoom in on that one person to show in your video. That is a huge no-no. Just avoid doing it. It's always good at the location that you're filming in just to ask permission. Before you go into a grocery store, if you see an employee, just say, if you don't mind, do you mind if I shoot some video in here? Now, I have shot video in grocery stores and in locations without asking permission, but usually someone, if it bothers them, they will tell you. Sometimes signs will be posted. No video allowed, especially if you're in a tourist attraction or in some sort of a theme park or some location. They will put up signs that say no video allowed. So you've got to be careful in that situation. But it's always good to just ask. Other than that, it really doesn't matter where you film. Again, let me show you where I'm filming this morning. Sorry for the shaky video. I should have loosened this up a little better. Let's go this way. I'll edit this out. We'll make it much smoother. So really it doesn't matter where the location is you're shooting. Let me show you again where I'm shooting this morning. It's not the quietest location, the best location in terms of audio, but hey, it'll do. Okay, I just dropped my camera. That's part of it too. Okay, I'm back. I temporarily took a break there. As I was saying, it really doesn't matter in terms of the location. You can shoot your video anywhere. Just keep an eye on your background. Make sure you've got some good lighting. Get yourself a little microphone, or make sure your audio is good in some way. Maybe shoot if you don't have a microphone, shoot in a location where there's no noise. But make sure you've got good audio, and be aware of all the rules and restrictions. Other than that, just get on your camera, push record, and start recording. That's all I've got for you today. Go out and have a good one, and we'll see you again soon.